how about we go and have a look at this budget announcement? I'm not flying. I've already said flummoxed today, haven't I? I'm not flummoxed by the budget announcement, but it just seemed to be a little bit of I guess it's because you know what it is, Chewy? It's everything we've said it would be. It's meandering. We're giving tax cuts. Yeah, here's your $2. Here's your $1. Here's your $4. We're going to let you keep some of your own money. Yep, $9 a week.
It sounds great that it's 85% of people over 16 or some absolute nonsense.
So when I listened to this evening, or watched this evening, I was a little bit kind of nonplussed going, well, there's not really much to say here. But I guess that's because, honestly, this is what we've been saying for quite a long time. So it feels like this is yesterday's news. But perhaps for some people, they do need to see what's going on. And you better get prepared for your $2 a week tax cut whilst you're paying $50 a week to send your kids on school buses. Well done, National.
We've met our savings target. That's the message from the
We've cut enough out of public service.
Finance Minister as she gears up for this month's budget. In her first official pre-budget speech, Nicola Willis confirmed $1.5 billion has been found in savings across government agencies. In some cases, the money saved has been redirected to frontline services. In keeping with the government's ethos, it won't be a big spending budget, although the minister plans her tax relief package will lift the take-home income of 83% of us over 15. But we'll only get the details on Budget Day, May 30th. One early announcement, though, the establishment of a new social investment agency replacing the social wellbeing agency. It's aimed at getting more bang for the social services buck. With more, here's political editor Mikey Sherman.
As the Finance Minister prepares to open up the government books, she admits the grim outlook has weighed heavily.
In my first 6 months as Finance Minister, each Treasury update seems to be worse than the last.
I think that's because it is, and I think that is because the promises you made can't be done along with the tax cuts. And so, yeah, it seems to be worse each time because it probably is. And we'll just say it again for the 19,000th time of our we're going to say this 3 million times in this term, and we're up to 19,000. And if it wasn't for those $3 billion going back to landlords, those projections may not have been quite so bad.
Do you think the Treasury updates are, dear Nicola, we hate you?
Yeah, something like that. Good Lord.
Sadly, I have learned to dread what comes out of the forecasters' mouths when they come into my office.
How about just taking some acknowledging here? The dread that's coming out of their mouths is due to what, Nicola? Possibly due to the policies you're putting in place and then projecting what's going to fucking happen with that. So if you're dreading hearing the news back from Treasury based on your policy, why the fuck don't you do some work on your policy? And then maybe the next one wouldn't be quite so bad when Treasury comes back to you and goes, you know what you're going to do? Yeah, it's going to fuck us up pretty good. Maybe that's the thing to focus on rather than that pithy little, I don't dread it. It's like, getting bad news from a boyfriend. It's just think as to why you're dreading it and why it's bad. Why don't we start there, eh? Go from there.
Despite that, Nicola Willis is resolute.
I think New Zealanders voted for us knowing we're good at doing clean-up jobs, that we're good at making more of less.
There's no evidence of that. Like evidence of clean-up jobs. What? No evidence of that. Clean-up of what?
She urged business leaders to keep the faith amidst growing pessimism.
I'd simply say this. It is darkest before the dawn.
The darkest days have seen more than 4,000 job cuts across government agencies, saving $1.5 billion.
I am confirming today that we have met.
Actually, I'm interested as to if all of those 4,000 people then needed to go on wins, that's going to cost the government money. I wonder what the offset is. I've never heard that number done. That's worth checking out. Because they say they've saved $1.5 billion by basically firing 4,000 people. If all those people ended up on wins, what's the offset? Just a thought. Because wouldn't that we do?
Yeah.
Income in, income out.
So I mean, that's anybody that's dealt with wins will know this, right? But generally, if you get sacked or you quit a job and then don't have another job lined up, you've got to wait something like 2 or 3 months before you can go on a job seeker benefit. If you've been made redundant, that drops dramatically. I think you can even go on straight away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't see why many people would, but the people that are letting go, I assume, are employable. But there's a hell of a lot of them that have just been released into the job market.
Yeah. Worming's got an answer for us there. Cleanup equals vacuuming more money for the wealthy. Thank you for your super chat.
Yeah, you know, look, I don't know about you, Pat, or people in the chat. I don't just... she's Ruth Richardson with a better haircut, but I just don't trust her.
Well, all right, let's keep going and seeing. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe there's a bit of gold at the end of this rainbow.
That savings target.
It's a substantial saving that's come through. It highlights that government departments have been operating with a lot more money than possibly they've needed to deliver.
This guy, his take from this is government departments have been operating with more money than they've needed. How about they haven't been operating with enough money and this is just going to screw the departments worse than they were? That's also a possible outcome from this. But this guy from Brad Olson, from whatever group he's from, his takeaway is, well, if they're doing this, I guess that means that these departments must have been running on more than they needed. There's no evidence for that. Just because you've pulled out a whole bunch of money doesn't mean that they had more. It might mean that they had enough or they didn't have enough and now they're even worse off.
Savings target.
It's a substantial saving that's come through. It highlights that government departments have been operating with a lot more money than possibly they've needed to deliver in recent times.
Now that you've met the goal, can you give an assurance that there will be no more budget cuts, no more job losses?
In future, of course, we will make changes to government agencies if we think they're needed to deliver better results for New Zealanders.
Voters expecting a tax cut were reassured.
One thing that we promised them we would deliver was letting them keep a bit more of their own money.
Yeah, no, that's actually not what was promised. I believe there was hints and words like significant and not a bit more of their money. I believe the phrasing and the verbiage used before the election was a little bit more dramatic and positive than a bit more of their money. I'll do some research on that as well.
But just how much may look different.
We could see that those tax cuts might be a bit more modest than have been first expected, given you've seen that government revenue is lower than expected.
$10 extra per week for a New Zealander is not going to mean all too much when your rent's going up by $50.
Nicola Willis chalked up a significant win today, banking $1.5 billion in savings across dozens of government departments in such a short space of time is no mean feat, all while under the glare of thousands of people who lost their jobs in the process. Now her biggest test awaits.
Threading the needle through a very narrow gap of doing enough to keep the economy moving, but not too much to overstimulate it. That's what economists are looking for.
With 21 more sleeps until budget day. Mikey Sherman, One News.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, like I said, it feels like we've already covered off all of that. Maybe that's why it felt a bit flat to me. Like, yeah, we know this. Yeah, we know this. But that's, I think, part of the point. Many of us know this, but this government will just push it through and crash through no matter what. I mean, this whole kind of, it's going to be more modest. You know, no. $250 a fortnight for your average family. Let's not forget what was being promised beforehand. You know, significant savings, a meaningful difference. These were the kinds of terms that were being used before the election, not like keep a little bit or keep a bit of their income. No, you don't get to walk it back.
And don't forget the almost universal condemnation from people that it wasn't going to work. So, look, I think I've been brewing for what we're going to do on the show around the budget. Mm-hmm. I think it is like the swag hat is just here.
Yeah,
so it's waiting
for all the money we're going to get.
Yeah, sure. Let's say that.
Let's go with that.
But there's lots of ways that small amount of money that is going to go out to families and average wage earners and stuff like that, it's going to get eaten. It's going to get eaten because your bank's put its rates up. It's going to get eaten by the landlord putting his rates up. It's going to get eaten by your council putting their rates up because Three Waters is gone. You take a bus to work, you send the kids to school on a bus, that money's gone. It's gone 17 different ways without meaningfully affecting somebody's life. So don't crow to me about tax cuts.